You're listening to the Midlife Marriage Mastery podcast. Conversations for women ready to reimagine, revive, and reignite love in the second half of life. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm your host, Lisa Kneller, a marriage and relationship coach, helping women create conscious, connected, and joy-filled partnerships without losing themselves in the process. Each week, we'll explore the inner work of love, how to shift your being, master your mindset, and rebuild the intimacy and connection you crave. Because love doesn't fade in midlife, it evolves, and it begins with you. We love labels. We study the Enneagram, attachment theory, and other methodologies to fix ourselves and our partners. But sometimes these labels just give us a more sophisticated way to stay stuck in conflict. Here is a shift in thinking. What if your partner isn't broken or wrong? What if you're both just living in separate realities? Here's an insight that I learned through a concept called the 3 principles. The 3 principles allow us to understand that we tend to live in the feeling of our thinking. In other words, whatever we are thinking leads us to feelings and emotions that oftentimes leads us to unhelpful reactions rather than thoughtful responses. A Scottish welder by the name of Sydney Banks came up with this idea. First, there are only 3 things that exist in our world. One is mind, or the infinite intelligence of the universe. Then there is consciousness, which is our ability to perceive and experience the universe. And then there are our thoughts, the gift of creation of words, phrases, and understandings that help us move forward in the world, and sometimes backward, depending on our thinking. The 3 principles also shows us that we don't live in the same world as our spouse. We live in the world of our own thinking. When our spouse is quiet, or when your spouse is quiet, you might think they're withdrawing, or they're mad or disappointed with you. But in their reality, they might just be tired. We must give pause to our immediate assessments. We need clarity over conviction. I know this sounds simplistic, but hear me out. When you understand that your feelings come from your thoughts about a circumstance and not necessarily reality, it's much easier to navigate the world and our relationships. Esther Perel says that the quality of our relationships determines the quality of our life. If you want a better quality relationship with your mate, give him or her the space to be, and then get clarity on what you are thinking. You may be totally wrong, and in that case, you can bring your feelings back to joy versus anxiousness, worry, or anger. Until next time, I send my love and encouragement for mastering the art of being together. P.S. Join my Facebook group, Maximum Desire and Midlife Marriage Mastery, if you want to be in a community of women who talk about relationship stuff. I'm partnering with the host of Maximum Desire podcast, Jeannie Moram, and we're having a blast. Join us. It's fun and juicy. Thank you for listening to Midlife Marriage Mastery. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, rate, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this message today. Until next time, lead with love, live with purpose, and master the art of being together. Grab my free assessment called Midlife Marriage Check-In at lisanellercoaching.com.